Welcome to my channel Meredith and welcome everyone. And now we're talking about adults of Reddit. What is something every teenager needs to know? Let's talk about it more. It's okay to say not anyone. Don't let anyone in your life guilt trip you into doing something you don't want to do or are uncomfortable with. And try to be aware of when you are guilt tripping others. It's exactly as lame to not do something you want to do because it's too mainstream or popular as it is to do something only because it's cool and the cool kids are doing it. The mirror of whether someone has the potential to be a new friend of yours is not whether they like a bunch of things you like. It's entirely possible to become friends with people who likes a ton of things you've never heard of, or even already decided you dislike. You are at a spot in life where a lot of your likes and dislikes are subject to change anyway. Biggest thing, making a new friend often takes time, lots of time, much longer than movies and shows make it look like. Find things to do, groups to join, city league sports to play, pandemic permitting or after, and keep learning about the people you see repeatedly. Far too many early 20s people who report having no friends made the premature judgment that one or more prospective friends were off the list, when it just needed a lot more time. Can confirm, my best friend and I have absolutely nothing in common interest wise, but get along extremely well. Failing is okay. Don't be afraid, please, don't be afraid. Failure and mistakes are where you are learning. Get a marketable skill. Unskilled labor sucks. You need something that's going to pay you. It doesn't have to be your life's passion, contrary to what my peers were saying at the age. But you do need to be able to tolerate it. And you don't need to go to a university and get a bachelor degree to get those skills. 2 years of welding school will get you a better return in investment than most undergraduate degrees. Sometimes it's not just the faith in your parents, while above are very intelligent, functional people, are fucking idiots for letting you suffer through 4 years of high school. Don't go to college for more than 2 years unless you're gonna finish it. Don't let your bank act yo-yo around zero. Start to save something. At least have $1,000 for an emergency fund. Drinking a little is fine. Drinking at the bar every weekend or 3x week will ruin your health and your wallet. Don't drink and drive. But you are allowed to have fun and nice things sometimes, and sex is not wrong or immoral. Jude, be careful about it, and most social media is a poisonous, toxic lion breakfast dumpsters fire. Don't waste your time expecting for your immediate friend group. If you don't have a passion, learn new skills, you might find your passion or something you're good at. Good advice. Also, if you do have a passion, embrace it and don't be shy about it. Also, if your passion is something creative like art, design, woodworking, basically anything that has a visual aspect, be ready to expect unjust criticism, accept constructive criticism, and I know most importantly, reject any sense of overconfidence in yourself. You think you are the best, you tend to not really accept any criticism and start looking down on the work of others. Expect the criticism, accept the constructive advice, reject the propeller made out of poop. If the propeller is made out of poop, people will be none the wiser when shit hits the fan. 2020. When you get to driving, you need to realize that the laws of physics apply to you. They aren't out to get you, they're just indifferent. Slow the fuck down and don't horse around. You are driving a very heavy machine at speeds we did not evolve to deal with. Be safe. Also, slow down on curves. Friction is your best friend until you reach the breaking point. To add to this, don't brake in curves. Slow down before the curve, then speed up out of the curve. I don't know the physics behind this, but my dad was a police officer and has done some pursuits. And I was taught this by my driver's ed instructor, who helps instruct police officers too. This is because braking takes away from overall tire grip, very common fundamental in racing, but can also save your life on public roads where grip is already shitty, especially with stock or old tires. However, this doesn't mean you can't brake at all in a turn. You just have to be wary that there is a limited amount of grip for even the best tires. How to de-escalate difficult situations, and how to disagree with a teacher, someone in authority without sounding like a know-it-all or in a condescending manner. For example, if your teacher says X and you are certain you learn differently, recognize that there may be certain circumstances that you may not realize that change something. Lead the disagreement with saying like, "Excuse me, I may be wrong, but I thought learn Y." This kind of phrasing does not cause the other person to be on a defensive, which can allow gentle new instruction for you, or a graceful face-saving correction for the teacher. A situation with differing opinions doesn't have to be confrontational. The general advice to not be in a show will get you further in life than you would expect considering how it's easy. There is more to it than just do not be in a show. It's allowing a graceful exit for both parties. The same is true when encountering wild animals. I graduated 10 years ago from high school, and none of those people are in my life now. So take your time being you and grow your self-esteem and talent, no other wasting time trying to impress those pricks you won't even remember in a few months after graduation. Indeed, it seems like there is some confusion as to my advice. I'm not saying drop your friends. Those are a very important aspect of life, especially in high school. What I'm saying is drop the politics and drama of your school. I know it feels like it's the whole world now, but if you let those who try to bring you down, who mock you, who try and pressure you will not be around forever. Worry about building yourself to being the best you that you can become. I still have contact with a few childhood friends to this day, just not really any I made in high school. But all those negative drama carrying, bullies and those downbeats in general will not follow you. Now I'm sad about possibly losing my friends after high school, because I love them like my family. If you're that tight, there's no reason you couldn't maintain some friendships, but distance does really test relationships. I found that the only people from high school I still actively seek out are ones that played games with online scenes. We do it regardless of where everybody lives. This is what I love about being a PS gamer. Heck, half the time we're just hanging around chatting from two different places in the US, but still together. At this point, 6 years out of ages 12 from college, I'm still close friends with one college friend, no one from high school. It's not always like that. My 4 closest friends from high school have stayed close for years later. It depends who you and your friends are and how much effort you put in. Don't be sad. Please don't be sad. I graduated over 30 years ago, but I'm still friends with a few people from high school. Some people are quality. To echo this, I graduated 10 plus years ago, and some of my closest friends are people from high school, even after we all went off to different colleges. Keep good people around and don't spend time on those that don't deserve it. 20 plus years ago for me, I was amazed how many people that had been so important to my social life disappeared. I mean, like by the end of summer, I was down to 5 people, lol. By the time I came back to visit in December, it was 3. Now, if it weren't for Facebook, I would have lost contact with all but 2 friends from high school. Now I look back on yearbooks or at reunion lists and I don't recognize anyone's names or faces. Stephanie, who? I did. Just rereading this again and seeing how many voice to text mistakes, they're lol okay. I'm going to go in and see if I can fix this up a little. Cashiers don't care if you buy condoms. As a cashier, I only found it funny when a guy came to buy chocolate and a pack of condoms on Valentine's Day. The condoms with a single chocolate rose always cracked me up, especially since the drugstore was in between a grocery store with a floral department and a floral shop. As a cashier, I found it funny when a guy bought a pack of condoms and some flowers the day after Valentine's Day. Meh, last year I did day after Valentina's just because her job would have made it difficult for her to arrive before 8 p.m. Really, any point that weekend is fine, doesn't have to be on the day. Wife and I always do a pre or post Valentine Day. Less people out and no instantly priced Valentina's special. Or if they do, who gives a shit? 30 seconds later something else will happen and they will literally never think of you again. Same goes for buying period stuffs if you are a girl. Edit it, or if you are anyone, as many have mentioned, buying anything. Period supplies, condoms, meds, laxatives, etc. For the person in your life is kind that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It sucked for me growing up in a teeny town with one grocery store and one teeny drugstore. Either the cashier was the best friend of my parents or the girl's parents, or it was a classmate from my school. You grew up in one of the few situations where the cashier does care what you buy, unfortunately, and that is why I'm a city person in a nutshell. Aka, where I live in the next town, or from where I teach law. I was a teacher for 34 years, never lived in a town where I taught. Everyone deserves a personal life. To add to this, guys, buy your girlfriend's tampons. The cashier doesn't care. They just does dude inside as you. Exactly. Also, what do you think the person will think? Oh, his girlfriend's sister friend must be on her period is about the only thing that person would think. Is that if she even does, which she probably won't even do. Most people probably will just assume you are a caring boyfriend who remember to buy the tampons she asked you to bring while buying groceries. And isn't that a good thing? I really can't think of anything negative someone would think about it. Nobody will believe they are for you. Nah, surely OP is sticking Sam up his boat. Mampoun's wall knows his secret. Trust me, when you do start getting action, you'll need to keep this in mind. Don't be my old roommate who let her boyfriend keep risking it because they were afraid to buy condoms. Being afraid to buy condoms but not being afraid to accidentally get pregnant. Thank you for watching and don't be afraid to subscribe of my channel. Meredith.